Welcome to another edition of Thumb Sportsline Tuesday on WMIC 95.3 FM. Streaming online at sanilacbroadcasting.com. Click the listen live link. This show is another pre-recorded Thumb Sportsline. Why? Because we got a big high school boys basketball game you cannot pass up. It is the Croswell Lexington Pioneers at the Yale Bulldogs. First meeting between these two teams for this season, both undefeated in league play. That game will tip off with a pregame show on WBGB 92.5 at 7 p.m. with yours truly going solo, but I may have a co-pilot for part of that game, as he is my co-host, the true host of this show, Thumb Sportsline Mike Gallagher of the Sanilac County News. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I might hang out with you tonight, doing a little broadcasting. I don't know, but
yeah,
really looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
Don't you just love when the schedule lines up like that?
On a Tuesday?
Well, on a Tuesday, but you get the two undefeated teams in the BWAC going up against each other. I'm excited. I've already seen Croslex a few times. Haven't had an opportunity to watch Yale yet. They're outside of my coverage area technically, but it's always fun to watch Yale. But I'm expecting fireworks tonight. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think you've got a couple of superstars out there, and Max Knoll and Jackson Kohler and Cam Saunders. Yeah.
But you still have a lot. You'll hear in my pregame. Basically scorings and, that has been going on with the Yale Bulldogs and Croswell Lexington Pioneers. But, it's not just the Jackson Kohler show. There's other key players to keep that, I guess you could say that dog running right now. So, all right. So we'll see if the Croswell Lexington Pioneers will circle those wagons on those Bulldogs. Tune in for that game at 92.5. But, hey, let's talk about this real quick. Our first, the inaugural Thumb Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame went on this past Saturday. If you were wondering about it, you wanted to check it out, you missed out. But I was happy to see a few people kind of not really personally connected to our inductees, but wanted to check it out. And I'm glad that a few people did come check it out. Some came out of state. Former players came out of state to see what it's all about. I saw Kendall Muxlow there. Yep. She's probably a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I saw some coaches from Deckerville show up, just were curious about it too.
Yep.
A few other stragglers that I said hello to, and basically our inductees and their families, and of course our Thumb Sports Writers Association showed up in pretty good force there to check it out at Ubley Heights. I even got slicked up. I bought a whole new outfit.
You look nice.
I didn't I?
Now, you got to tell the listeners.
What?
Mrs. Fury dressed you for the evening.
The best.
But you did look nice.
Yes. I started doing the smart thing because I can never get the right size shirts or pants. I brought Mrs. Fury. After 30 years of marriage.
Right.
Take your woman shopping. If you're just a new boyfriend or girlfriend, take the woman shopping with you. She will set you up. And boy, she made me look good.
Yeah.
So haircut.
She got you a child's large shirt.
Actually, if you go large slim, it's actually the same size as a typical large, but everything flexed out great.
Yeah.
It made my fat belly look like there was nothing there. All right.
That's all we can hope for.
Yeah, I was looking sharp. You did too in your blazer, sports blazer.
Thank you. Yeah.
Brought your girlfriend too?
Yeah. I was glad she wanted to come. I thought it exceeded my expectations. Yeah. I knew that it was going to be a good event because, Paul Adams, Clark Ramsey, Jonathan Bisher, Ashley Wayner-Palmer, they were pretty much the ones that did almost all of the work for this event. We all chipped in a little bit where we could.
Chipped in. I just bought drinks.
Yeah, that's a big job.
Made things fun. Said hello to everybody. Shaking hands, kissing babies is what I did.
But
making people feel welcome there.
Yeah, but like you said, it was cool seeing the people that weren't related to the inductor or the inductees. They just wanted to come out and support the Thumb Sports Writers Association. That was awesome to see. But I thought all the speeches were fantastic. Yeah. You could tell, and I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, but you could tell that this recognition meant a lot to these former student athletes, or coaches, or I mean, you could see, some of them getting emotional during their speeches, but it was a nice night to kind of relive the glory days.
Yeah.
It was great hearing stories about Jordan Bitzer and Eli Kraft,
who both look like they probably can still play.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Especially Jordan Bitzer.
Eli Kraft could have played quarterback for Harbor Beach this year and taken him to Ford Field. But Jim Fish, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
He had a great speech. Raina Frost was awesome. It was
some of these individuals drove a long way in bad weather to come to this event too.
Yeah, and we appreciate it. Yeah. So all things considered, it was a great success.
Yeah.
I'm already looking forward to next year. We've already started discussing who may be, in next year's class.
Yep.
I've put together my nominations already. We discussed it last week. Myself, Scott Bowlesby, and Paul Adams, the three of us come up with nominations from our respective counties, and then we bring them to the Thumb Sports Writers Association to vote on. So I have what I think is a pretty solid list.
Okay.
For Sanilac County. It helps that I have Altamont in Sanilac County. I think, it's a hard choice between,
who's this guy?
Jim Fish and Altamont. Okay. One of the greatest volleyball coaches in the state, or one of the greatest girls basketball coaches in the state. So, it's okay that I'm sure Al won't mind that he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. He'd probably prefer that he didn't make it on the first ballot, but when you look at the names that, Paul's come up with some names, Scott's thrown out some names, but it's going to be tough voting. But I'm looking forward to the discussion of who's going to be in that second class, and I'm already looking forward to the next event. So
shout out to Ubly Heights Golf and Country Club staff. They're hosting us there. The facility has been updated, in the last several years since I've done weddings there before as myself as a side hustle, disc jockey job. The facility looks great, and that's where we're, basically hosting our golf tournament once again, fundraiser. So looking forward to that in the warmer months leading up to it.
Shout out to the caterer as well.
Oh, man.
Fantastic food.
I'm not I do like fish, but I'm a walleye perch guy, but that pollock tasted great.
Oh,
and the prime rib.
The potatoes.
Oh, man. Yeah. So good dinner, good events, well worth the price. I think too cheap in my opinion.
Right.
So, but it was a great, and I thank everybody for putting that together. And again, people that came from a long ways, either in-state or out-of-state to come to this event. We appreciate that. All right, so that is, by the way, a full recap of that. There's pictures online on the out there with our news organizations and part of the Thumb Sports Writers Association. You'll have a story on this when?
That will be running in papers in the Thumb next week.
Not this week.
Not this week.
Next week.
No,
a recap.
It was a little bit of a quick turnaround there.
Yeah. Understandable.
I want to make sure I do a good job with it.
So you are the overall writer of the story that will be printed in different publications?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Same with the All-Star games and,
Right. So it'll be in the Sanilac County News next week, the Huron County View, Huron Daily Tribune possibly, and the Tuscola County Advertiser.
Yep.
Those are the newspaper publications. Support them, people, when you get a chance. Tomorrow, especially with the Sanilac County News coming out tomorrow. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk some Thumb Air Legion hockey. They had a game on Martin Luther King Jr. Day yesterday. A lot of schools did not have school today or yesterday because of the holiday, but because of the snow freezing day as well. We'll talk about the Thumb Air Legion and what they did yesterday and over the weekend last week as well, and what they got coming up this weekend as well. It's on Thumb Sports Line, WMIC 95.3 FM. We'll be right back.
From Graf Chevrolet of Sandusky, here's Sam and Scott.
2025 is in the rearview mirror, and we plan on making history in 26. We have one remaining 25 Silverado, and we slashed the price on this truck in order to move it out.
You can save up to $15,700 on our remaining 25 Silverados on the lot. This includes demo savings, trade-in, and GM Rewards, card sign, and spend. This truck retails for over $62,000. You can get this now for only $46,500. Loaded up with a V8 and leather, it'll be tough to beat this deal.
Current Chevy lessees can get into a very well-equipped 26 Silverado 2FL for as low as $292 a month. Or you can purchase this $55,000 truck for as low as $41,750.
If you're looking for a good pre-owned car, SUV, or truck, Car Bravo is now offering a 12-month, 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
And Car Bravo also offers financing with rates as low as 3.9%, with prices starting at $11,900.
That's right, Sam. We currently have a good selection of 3/4-ton trucks and SUVs on the lot, as well as Suburbans with highly sought-after Duramax engines.
So start the new year off by saving big at Graf Chevrolet on M46 in Sandusky. See dealer for details.
Graf family, we're making friends.
Welcome back to Thumb Sportsline on WMIC, a 95.3 FM, and streaming online at SanilacBroadcasting.com. To open up this 5 o'clock hour, we like to talk about the Thumb of Your Legion hockey team. They were in action yesterday, went on the road, still played their game despite the weather. Had a tough loss to Ann Arbor father Gabriel Richard Irish. 7-6 was the final score. Thumb of Your Legion after the first period were down 3-1, but then scored 4 big goals in the second. Ann Arbor father Gabriel Richard scored 2, but they had 2 in the third and just 1 for Thumb of Your Legion. Quite a battle for them to come back, but they come up short. 7-6 was the final score in that game. It was Gabriel Richard scoring first, and Benjamin Meyer got the first goal, assisted by Easton Tank at the 9:50 mark in the first period. But 2 goals by Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard had that lead at 3-1. Second period, 2 more straight goals in the second period by Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard. But then, Thumb of Your Legion, 4 straight goals at the 13:31 mark. Evan Samuelson, always important to score on a power play, and they were able to do that. Peyton Bowerman and Benjamin Meyer at the 10:26 mark and the 5:22 mark. Peyton Bowerman with his second goal in that period at the 2:58 mark. And at that point, the score was all tied up, 5-5. Third period, you move on. Benjamin Meyer opens it up with a scoring, 5:36 mark. But however, the 2 goals by Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard were the ones that were able to take the win and edge the Thumb of Your Legion 7-6. Shots on goal, 21 for Thumb of Your Legion, 31 for Ann Arbor father Gabriel Richard. For the winning team there, 7-6. This was a Monday game. They fall to 10-5 overall for the Thumb of Your Legion. Irish go to 7-7-1. Not bad showing there by the Thumb of Your Legion. Disappointing they got the loss. They were right there. Good 4 goals there in that second period. But you're playing against some pretty good competition there. Before that, on Saturday, they had the 9-4 win over Downriver Unified. On Wednesday last week, they lost 6-5. Another close loss for Thumb of Your Legion in that game. And that was the loss to Tri-Valley Thunder. In that one, Thumb of Your Legion led 2-1 in the first period. And then it was all tied up in the second period. Tri-Valley Thunder, they scored 2 goals to Thumb of Your Legion's 1. Both teams scored 2 goals in the third period, and this game went into overtime, and Tri-Valley Thunder got that win 6-5 in overtime as they could not hold on to the lead. That was at the 7:13 mark. In that game, the loss in overtime for Thumb of Your Legion, Easton Tank had the goal in the first period at the 16:30 mark. A power play goal by Tri-Valley Thunder. Power play goal by Thumb of Your Legion, Benjamin Meyer. Second period, 11:09 mark. Cy Beagle with a goal unassisted. Power play goal by Tri-Valley Thunder, and just a 5-on-5 situation at the 1:24 mark in the second period. Power play goal for Thumb of Your Legion, Jackson Anthony. Peyton Bowerman had a goal in the third period at the 4:37 mark. The fact that they're, at least right now, getting half their power play goals in a game is good, which means they're, and when you have a good power play unit out there, it's making the opponent's defense difficult for them, to try to stop them. So if you can at least get half of your power play goals when you have the 5-4 advantage is what it is. It's got to feel pretty good. However, losing in overtime and you give up goals, on defense, kind of tough to take.
The Tri-Valley loss, that one hurts. Tri-Valley was undefeated in the Mid-Michigan Hockey Conference last season, and at the beginning of the season, the Legion actually beat Tri-Valley, which was pretty encouraging. When you beat them on the road, you have the opportunity for the sweep, and you're playing at home, and you have the lead late. I believe Tri-Valley tied it with like less than 2 minutes to play. Yeah. So that's tough to see that slip away. But you still have the split on the season. So, I mean, no harm there. The important thing is they bounced back on Saturday, got a big win against Downriver Unified. And just a note about that's their 10th win of the season, obviously. In the 8-year history of the Thumb Area Legion, this is only the third time that they've won 10 games. In the 2022-23 season, they won 14 games. That included 13 in the regular season and then one postseason game. And they've still got a lot of games left, Eddie. So obviously their main goal is to work towards that conference championship. But you also have to stop and appreciate some of the goals and some of the achievements that they've already had so far this season. And Gabriel Richard, I mean, there's no shame in losing that one. So, you go 1-3 last week, you pick up your 10th win, and you've got a lot of exciting stuff going on this weekend. So,
yeah, well, they got Bishop Fuller United on Friday, and that one's on the road. And they'll be playing that at the John Lindell Ice Arena, Royal Oak East Rink. But then they'll have to turn around and play a Saturday afternoon. And this is a very important matchup in the conference play in the Mid-Michigan Hockey Conference against the Tawas Braves. Tawas is 10-8 overall, while Thumb Area Legion is 10-6. But technically they're tied for first place, even though Thumb Area Legion's right there at first place, because point-wise, they both each have 20 points. So this is a critical game for Thumb Area Legion. Even though that Bishop Fuller United is a non-league game, it's still points. You need that for your standings. But in league standings, the important one is against Tawas Braves. And that is also the Armed Forces Cup game. That's Saturday afternoon, 3:30 p.m., where the puck will drop at the Colleen J. Howe Arena in Sandusky at the Sanilac County Forage Fairgrounds. By the way, all proceeds from ticket sales and the 50-50 raffle will be donated to the Sanilac County Veterans Affairs. And all current and former military members get free admission and special recognition if you choose, and that's this Saturday. An opportunity to see some good hockey action to see two very good hockey teams face each other, and very important in the Mid-Michigan Hockey Conference. As I said, Thumb Area Legion currently in first place, Tawas Braves in second place. So this is not only, a special game, but a huge matchup between these two teams. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and obviously they have the support of Open Skate on Sunday. We've talked about it on the show before. If you have a kid that meets that criteria and would like to take them out to it's an awesome event, Eddie. It's a great opportunity for kids to get out on the ice. That'll be Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
All right, so after this weekend games on Friday and Saturday, like I said, a huge matchup against the Tawas Braves. Thumb Area Legion plays on Wednesday next week, January 28th. That's against the FNV Griffins, who also happen to be in the Mid-Michigan Hockey Conference standings there. They're in third place at 9-8 overall, 18 points. So they're right in the thick of things themselves. Thumb Area Legion also has the Gladwin Flying G's on Thursday. So back-to-back games there, Wednesday, Thursday. What a little bit of a brutal schedule right now for Thumb Area Legion. Just because the Flying G's are in last place and fifth place, again, I think it's very close and competitive. They're 8-8. Tri-Valley Thunder 8-8. The Griffins are 9-8. And again, Thumb Area Legion and Tawas Braves just have 10 wins each. So this is a very tough, competitive conference, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, Tri-Valley was the cream of the crop last year, going undefeated. But, Gladwin was a great team last year as well. The Legion is a good team. So this race should be pretty interesting.
All right, so check it out. Again, that is on Saturday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. And the Thumb Air Legion still has to play a game the night before this Friday, January 23rd on the road at Bishop Foley United. But this Armed Forces Cup game against Tawas Braves in Sandusky, take advantage of it. It's 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. You should be able to watch it. Yep. You can still watch your football game on YouTube. Besides, those games are on Sundays anyways, I think, for the championship games.
Eddie, I do have one last thing about the Legion.
Yep.
This team, they're always doing great things. They're always doing great things for the community. The Armed Forces Cup is such a big deal. The support of Open Skate, a fantastic event for the community. On Saturday, February 14th, the Thumb Area Legion will be hosting the Eager Strong Hockey Night for Cancer game against FNV. This game is in memory of the number one supporter and fan, Jeffrey Eager. He passed away recently from colon cancer. He was the father of Lauren Eager, legendary Thumb Area Legion goaltender.
And still playing hockey.
And a shameless plug here. There will be a story running in the paper tomorrow about nice. Not only is she playing hockey, she's playing it very well, Eddie. But Jeff Eager, great guy. He was a great fan. Obviously, he was the number one fan of Lauren, but he also supported everybody else on that team, and he supported the program. So they'll be hosting an Eager Strong Hockey Night for Cancer game. All proceeds from admission, 50-50, sponsorships, donations, and shirt store will be donated to Colon Town on behalf of the Eager family. Colon Town is an online community of more than 100 private support groups for colon rectal cancer patients and care partners. If you are interested in sponsoring, there's a couple of different sponsorship opportunities. You can find the Facebook event link on the Thumb Area Legion hockey page, let's see. I want to see if you want to be a sponsor for the event, just find the Thumb Area Legion hockey team on Facebook, and you'll be able to find the information. So, all
right, thank you for that. And again, the story runs in tomorrow's Wednesday edition of the Sanilac County News. Be sure to check it out, folks. Pick up your Sanilac County News on newsstands Wednesdays, or you can get the online edition that I have, which is very convenient. But
don't you like the feel of a newspaper in
your
hands?
Do.
Yeah.
And now that I got a new dog, I might have to sign up for getting them both now because, my pets in the past, their favorite section is the sports section, especially when I let them borrow it, maybe, read on the toilet, you could say, per se, for my pets. And my new pet is doing well. She's loving right now chewing on all my old tennis shoes right now. So, yeah.
Cool. Someone's got to do it.
Her name's Maggie. Yeah, so. All right, it is Thumb Sports Line on WMIC 95.3 FM. Come back. We'll get some talk on basketball. Of course, a big game of the night. This show right now is pre-recorded because we got our live high school boys basketball game coming up on 92.5 WBGB. Croswell Lexington Pioneer boys at the Yale Bulldogs. You're going to be at that game. I'm going to be at that game. Looking forward to that huge game. We'll have a recap of last week's action in basketball when we come back, and other sports notes on Thumb Sports Line.
The King of Cars.
This is Denny King, the King of Cars, with More Motors of Caro. Why choose More Motors of Caro? Because you get more for your money with More Motors of Caro.
More Motors in Caro.
You get award-winning service before, during, and after the sale. You get fair trade offers. You get transparency. And most importantly, trust.
Denny King, the King of Cars.
At More Motors of Caro, we take pride in building relationships that last a lifetime. It's customer service that makes the difference. Why would you settle for anywhere else when you can have the best?
More Motors in Caro.
Choose More Motors of Caro and get more for your money. This is Denny King, the King of Cars.
Denny King.
With a selection of Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, you owe it to yourself to come see why your friends and neighbors have been driving to Caro for over 60 years. Located on the west side of Caro on M81, come say hi to Denny King, the King of Cars.
All across the Thumb and Blue Water area, there's one propane supplier that's ready to serve you. It's Kohler Propane, with locations in Brown City, Memphis, and Bad Axe. Kohler Propane, where they strive to keep your fuel bill down and provide you with the best possible service. They guarantee their propane prices for 1 full year. There's free tank inspection and free safety inspection, plus keep full and budget plans are available. If you are not a current Kohler customer, now's the time to make the switch and call Kohler's. Whether it's propane for your home's heating system or for your farm or business, they're ready to serve you. Remember, Kohler's covers the entire Thumb and Blue Water area. For information, call toll-free 800-572-2191. That's 800-572-2191. Or visit getkohlers.com. Remember, nobody gives you gas like Kohler's.
Welcome back to Thumb Sports Line. A quick note. The Thumb Sports Writers Association Poll Schmoes came out.
Poll Schmoes.
And this time I participated because...
That was very nice of you to do that.
Well, I would have last week if they were clear with the instructions.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we got the polls done, and kind of interesting, isn't it? But some polls, some teams are pretty much clear-cut at the top.
You know, I think at the top of the rankings, it's, obviously boys, Harbor Beach is number 1, girls, Kingston's number 1. Now, if Croslex gets a win against Yale tonight, I think you could make an argument that they could hop up into that top spot.
Yeah, one of the best teams right now in boys basketball at 13-0 tonight. So.
Right, because Harbor Beach has 2 losses, but they're 2 losses that you call them quality losses, yeah. Eddie.
Marquette,
when
1 point loss, and to Freeland, close loss.
Right.
So
for the boys poll, it was at the top, it was pretty easy. Once you get down past 5-ish, It was a little bit trickier.
Murky, yeah.
The girls basketball poll, I had a lot of trouble this week because we have a lot of really good teams.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to decide where you want to put them because you could really go any number of different ways. But real quick, for the boys basketball poll this week, number 1 is Harbor Beach. They're the unanimous number 1 team. They received all 7 first-place votes. Croslex, number 2. Elkton Pigeon Bayport is number 3. Caro, number 4. I kind of thought Caro might have dropped a little bit more after the loss to Cass City, but I think the voters more so rewarded Cass City, which I'm fine with that too, because Cass City's been playing good lately.
It's not the end of the year poll. This is the weekly poll.
Right,
so, yeah.
Right. And tied for 5th is Kingston and Cass City.
Oh, okay.
7 is Sandusky. 8 is Ubley. 9 is Reese. And number 10 is Millington. Peck received 3 votes. Peck kind of victim of circumstance for this week's polls because Peck, they dropped out of the top 10 even though they won their only game last week. But that is because Reese and Millington have been playing pretty good basketball as well. So the girls poll, this was a little bit trickier, Eddie. Not number 1. Number 1, you can pencil that one in pretty much every week for the past 50,000 weeks. But Kingston, number 1. Number 2, Cass City, with they lost to Kingston. Sandusky in 3rd. Sandusky was 1 point behind Cass City, so it's getting pretty close there. Number 4, Caro. Number 5, Croslex. And Croslex was a team where I wasn't sure what to do with because
back-to-back losses.
Top
league opponents.
Yes, but not bad losses either.
Yeah.
So I think I can't remember where I ranked them, but that was one that I struggled with.
Yeah.
Because at number 6 you have Brown City. Brown City's only losses to number 1 Kingston.
Yep.
Number 7 is Deckerville. Deckerville's lone loss is to number 2 Cass City.
Okay.
And then number 4 Caro, their only losses to Sandusky. So I think I kind of ranked them on that. I ranked Brown City the highest out of the 3 because their only loss was to number 1. Deckerville, the second highest out of that group because of the loss to Cass City. But number 8 is Reese. Oh, sorry, no. Number 8 is USA. Number 9 is Reese. And getting love this week from the Thumb Sports Writers Association, number 10 is the Owen Gage Bulldogs.
Really? Oh, okay.
And I can't remember. Well, I must have voted Ubley because Ubley was receiving votes.
Yeah.
But I can't be mad at it. I mean, the Bulldogs have been playing well. Now, if they can get a win against Bay City All Saints, I don't know if that's tonight or if it was canceled from
Owen Gage against Bay City All Saints is tonight.
Okay, that's it. That's your prove it game, Owen Gage. If you can beat All Saints, you can take sole possession of first place in the Red Division. I mean, you're going to make a believer out of me. So that's the polls for this week. Nothing too crazy. I think we did all right. Now this week, we were supposed to have Kingston Croslex. That would have been awesome.
That was yesterday.
That was supposed to be yesterday.
It's been postponed to February. So.
We have Cass City Caro. Yep. That'll be a big one.
Yep.
Brown City Sandusky is next week. That'll be a big one. You know,
CPS Owen Gage Girls is this week.
That's another big one.
Yep.
That's a big one, Eddie. I'm obviously disappointed that last week's Brown City Deckerville game got canceled.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that game. I mean, they're both great teams. They both have superstars in Harley Leisure and Libby Tank. But also in terms of the polls, having them face each other would have made things a little bit easier to figure out.
All right, that's the Thumb Sports Writers Association basketball poll week of January 12th, ending January 17th. And more controversy will come next week after this week's action. We'll be right back here on Thumb Sports Line and WMIC 95.3 FM. Liberty Lanes and Sandusky salutes the area athletes for their accomplishments and academic achievements. On your way to or from the game, come on into Liberty Lanes for a pizza or one of the many tasty entrees on the menu. Enjoy the Friday fish specials and come back for the Sunday brunch. Liberty Lanes also has banquet facilities available. For information or to place an order to go, call 810-648-9860. That's 810-648-9860. Liberty Lanes, your family dining and bowling center in West Park, Sandusky. Serving you for more than 40 years. You can find Liberty Lanes on Facebook.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Welcome back to Thumb Sports Line on WMIC 95.3 FM. We get into basketball talk now in coverage, and might as well lead off right at being it's going to be our game of the week. It is the Croswell-Lexington Pioneers at the Yale Bulldogs. This show has been pre-recorded because we had that big game on 92.5 WBGV and streaming online at SaniLacBroadcasting.com. Myself will be broadcasting that game, so tune in for that tonight. Pre-game starts at 7 p.m. Tip-off at 7:30 p.m. at Yale High School against Croswell-Lexington.
If you're listening to this show live currently, go ahead and flip it over to the Croslex-Yale game. Listen to that, and then you can listen to us tomorrow on Spotify. That way you don't miss out on any of the great Sanilac broadcasting coverage.
Okay, and yes, you can listen to the replay podcast of this. All right, so Croswell-Lexington 10-3. Overall, Yale Bulldogs 13-0. 8-4 is Emily City Spartans overall. 7-5 is the Almont Raiders. Armada is 4-6 overall. 4-9 is North Branch. Richmond 2-11. Algonac at 2-11 overall. Now, tied for first place. Big game between Croswell-Lexington at Yale. They're both 6-0 in league play in the Blue Water Area Conference. Someone is going to move into first place after this game tonight. Emily City is 4-2. Almont at 3-3 in league standings. So those are pretty much your four top teams right now in this race for the Blue Water Area Conference. Emily City, 2 losses in already, but they lost to Croswell.
Yep.
And they lost to Yale early on.
Yeah.
Huge game here for Croslex and the Pioneers, and looking good after under first-year head coach. We talked to us about this last week. Cameron Mason doing a pretty good job and utilizing a lot of the returning players. These players are starting to really come into sync here.
Yeah.
After coming back from the holiday break here, now we're in our 3rd week of January basketball action.
Yeah, and leading up to this big matchup with Yale, I don't know that anybody had a better week of basketball in Sanilac County than Croslex did last week. They played 3 games, Eddie. That's a lot of basketball, first of all.
Yep.
But on Monday night, you host Kingston. Now, Kingston doesn't have the best record this season. However, that's because they are going out and playing Croslex. They're going out and playing the tougher teams in the area. Their non-conference schedule is just brutal. But Kingston is they're a good team.
Yeah, they played Yale too.
They played Yale too.
Rochester Hills Lutheran Northwest,
Yeah.
They're playing Cassidy, they're playing Carroll, they're playing Sandusky, they won against Sandusky, yeah.
But I've seen Kingston, they're a good basketball team. And, whenever you get a matchup like that, Croslex versus Kingston, the smaller school always has that extra motivation to pull off the upset.
They almost did.
They almost did. And that's why, that game was so important, Eddie, because Croslex played good basketball down the final 2 minutes of the game, because it didn't look great for about 2 or 3 minutes there, but they were able to hold off Kingston. Alex Levitt played great down the stretch. He had 6 points in the final minute and a half. So really, just a good test from Croslex, a good way to see how you're going to respond to tough situations in close games in the final minutes. I think that was a great win for Croslex. Now, obviously, you're Croslex. You're supposed to win that game on paper, but, it's a good Kingston team. And obviously, Max Knoll, big game. He had 20 points. Cam Saunders, he had 17. And then Levitt with 15. And Levitt's kind of emerging as a really nice complementary piece to those two. And then you have back-to-back games. The very next night, you have to go to North Branch for a BWAC game. And it's always hard to go back-to-back, obviously. You have no practice in between. And it's a BWAC game. And you cannot overlook any BWAC opponent. And Croslex handled North Branch. So there you go. You got 2 wins. And
69-44 win there. A good mix of players participating in scoring-wise. Cam Saunders, 17 points. Max Knoll, 14 points. 10 boards, by the way. Shane Slanik, he seems to be averaging over 10-plus points.
He's emerging as a nice piece, too. Yep. And that's going to lead into my next point here,
12
Eddie.
points in that game. Corbin Allen had 6 points. Alex Levitt, Blake O'Connor each had 5. Go ahead.
You look at the final game of the week against Armada. Again, another tough BWAC opponent. We've talked a lot on this show about Max Knoll and Cam Saunders. And we've also talked about the fact that, what's going to push Croslex to be a great team is what are these not complementary players. What are these other players going to do? Are they going to be able to step up when they're asked? And are they going to be able to take some of that pressure off of Cam Saunders and Max Knoll? Because obviously, the secret's out, if it wasn't already, those two are pretty good and teams are going to be preparing for those two. In the win against Armada, 11 different Croslex players scored.
Wow.
And you love to see that. And obviously they won big, 72-55. Knoll scored 12. Saunders had 9. Sanilac had 8. And Blake O'Connor added 7. So you look at going into this game against Yale tonight, obviously it's going to be Jackson Kohler versus Max Knoll. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Jackson Kohler versus Cam Saunders. And, Yale is in the same boat. You mentioned it earlier in the show. Yeah. It's not just Jackson Kohler. Yeah.
Even though he's a leading scorer, on average, probably having about maybe 15, 20 points per game.
Right.
But he does have a support there. On the boards, I remember him from last year, Braden Bullard, and he is like a bull out there.
Yeah.
Big guy. He has a smooth shot. If he can get hot. He can average 9 to 10 points in a game on a given night. Oliver Nelson, Joshua Isles, Tyler Debs is the key player to pretty much complement Jackson Kohler. But it's a good mix, of players that can all step up. Jason Fisher is another familiar face from last year. Is another big out there. But, both these teams have those supporting players out there. You do have your top leading scorer on both these teams, Cam Saunders, Max Knoll, for Croslex. But, Yale Bulldogs, the same deal. So I'm really excited about this game tonight. This is the first round matchup. They'll meet again at the very end of the regular season.
That's perfect,
on February 20th. Yeah. That could decide the Blue Water Area Conference League title. But both teams have those supporting players out there. You have your star.
Right.
Now your top players. But that top player can't do it without these extra guys here. And I'm seeing a lot more faces, at least average-wise. When you have, double figures with at least 3 or 4 different players, that means that one player is going to get shut down. The other guy's just going to elevate.
Well, and I think for us fans, at the beginning of the season, it was really exciting to see, Max Knoll and Cam Saunders. They're the two of the 3 top leading scorers in Sanilac County that, they're so exciting to watch. But for sustained and overall success, you can't maintain that. That's not what is going to win you basketball games. You need to have other players stepping up. And we've seen that. We've seen Corbin Allen have a huge game against Algonac. We've seen Sanilac playing well. We saw Levitt play well against Kingston. So I think tonight the difference is going to be, who's going to step up into a larger role than is usually expected of them.
Yeah, defensively, the Yale Bulldogs have not allowed a single team over 50 points.
Now that is an interesting stat because Croslex can score. We know that.
Yeah,
we know Croslex can score. So it'll be, is Croslex offense better than Yale's defense? That's a good stat, Eddie, because Croslex is.
They've allowed 50-plus points in some games, so yeah.
Right, but offensively, I mean.
So Croswell has this game tonight at Yale. Following this on the 23rd, they'll have North Branch. That's a home game for Croswell Lexington. Next week at Richmond, and then the big home rematch against Emily City on February 3rd. For Yale, this game hosting Croswell Lexington tonight. They'll be at Richmond on Friday. Next week, again, they just line up the competition. They're at Flint Powers Catholic next week on the 27th. They have Almont. That's a tough opponent who's kind of in the hunt themselves right now. As I said, Croswell, Lexington, and Yale both tied for first place in conference play. Yale is still undefeated at 13-0 overall. Croslex 10-3. Emily City 4-2 themselves, 8-4 overall. This week for Emily City, looking at their schedule, they want to get back in the hunt, and they've been known to do it. With 2 losses,
I'm not counting Emily City.
They did it last year against Yale.
No, I'm not counting them out whatsoever.
They're at Richmond tonight. They'll have Algonac. They should get those wins. Next week they have Armada, and then their big showdown at Croslex on February 3rd, and then they'll have Almont later on the 6th. So any of these teams can beat each other in a given night. It is the Blue Water Area Conference, and as you get deeper into January, there's no interruptions because here on out through February, there's no lapse or holidays breaking it up there. These teams are going to be in tip-top shape or game shape, you could say. All right, going to be an exciting night tonight. Can't wait to cover that game tonight on WBGB 92.5 FM. That's a little bit of info and the look at where the Blue Area Conference is. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Big Thumb Conference teams here on WMIC 95.3 FM and boys basketball. We continue our talk on. We'll be right back after.
Tri-County Equipment, we got it all.
Farmers, right now, you're not in the field. It's the perfect time to take advantage of Tri-County Equipment's off-season service and inspection program. This program includes inspections for square and round balers, combines, utility tractors, row crop tractors, and four-wheel drive tractors. The John Deere specialists at Tri-County Equipment will come right to your farm and do on-site inspections. Call or stop in at your nearest Tri-County Equipment location for complete information. Tri-County Equipment, your locally owned John Deere dealer, with 11 locations serving Michigan farmers in Sandusky, Marlette, Bad Axe, Carroll, Burton, Lapeer, Fenton, Reese, Saginaw, Birch Run, and Auburn Hills. Visit them on the website at tricountyequipment.net and like them on Facebook.
Tri-County Equipment, we got it all.
We appreciate Irish music so much that we feel it shouldn't be limited to just St. Patrick's Day. Tune in every Saturday night, 8 p.m. for the Blarney Hour. I'm Drew Duffney. Join me along with Adam Hairhuck as we bring you an hour of music inspired by the Emerald Isle. Irish music, funny stories, and our friend Father John. Every Saturday night at 8 p.m. on 95.3 FM and 660 AM WMIC.
All across the Thumb and Blue Water area, there's one propane supplier that's ready to serve you. It's Kohler Propane, with locations in Brown City, Memphis, and Bad Axe. Kohler Propane, where they strive to keep your fuel bill down and provide you with the best possible service. They guarantee their propane prices for 1 full year. There's free tank inspection and free safety inspection, plus keep full and budget plans are available. If you are not a current Kohler customer, now's the time to make the switch and call Kohler's. Whether it's propane for your home's heating system or for your farm or business, they're ready to serve you. Remember, Kohler's covers the entire Thumb and Blue Water area. For information, call toll-free 800-572-2191. That's 800-572-2191. Or visit getkohlers.com. Remember, nobody gives you gas like Kohler's.
Welcome back to WMIC 95.3 FM. It's Thumb Sportsline pre-recorded because of our high school boys basketball game going on tonight. Croswell-Lexington at Yale. That's on 92.5 WBGB and streaming online at sanlakebroadcasting.com. This show also will be in podcast replay form by tomorrow. All right, we dive into the Big Thumb Conference of high school boys basketball. And in the Big Thumb Conference Black Division, it's the Harbor Beach Pirates at 8-2 overall. They are 4-0 in conference play. Brown City at 2-1, 6-4 overall. Ubly 2-2 in conference play, 6-4 overall. 7-5 is the Sandusky Wolves, 2-2 in league play. K-Pac at 1-1, 4-6 overall. 1-2 is Marlette, 2-6 overall, and Memphis at 0-4 in last place of the Big Thumb Black Division and 1-8 overall. Harbor Beach Pirates, top of the polls and 4-0 in conference play. They are 8-2, but your immediate coverage area team, Brown City, Sandusky, and Marlette. Let's talk about the Sandusky Wolves. Well, you thought this is it. They're having some setbacks here after 2 straight losses against Harbor Beach. I covered that game back on the 9th. And then with a suspended player off your team, it's going to be kind of tough when one of your star players and top scorers are out of the game. K-Pac took advantage and won 49-36. That's no slouch in K-Pac. They can come and beat anybody,
right?
If given the right situation, and they were given that right situation. Now, Ubly was winning over Sandusky last week on Friday night, winning substantially, but then a comeback by the Sandusky Wolves and bites the Ubly Bearcats 63-54. Huge win here for the Sandusky Wolves. Now it's kind of like you look back at other games here, Mike Gallagher, and it's like, what if, could have, very perplexing Jekyll and Hyde here, but hey, great win for Sandusky to come back, and maybe this could hopefully set the pace here. They still have second meetings with a lot of teams coming up.
Yeah, and Sandusky needed this win against Ubly pretty badly, Eddie. Obviously, they got off to the great start to the regular season. They started 5-0, and that included a road win against Elkton Pigeon Bayport. I believe that's their only loss of the season so far. No, sorry, they're 9-2, but yeah. They handed Elkton Pigeon Bayport a loss in the middle of December. They opened up Big Thumb Conference Black Division play on the 19th of December with a win against Memphis. From there, you lose to Yale. That, no harm, no foul. That's a good non-conference game. You lose to North Branch. You lose to Kingston. You beat Peck, but you have to rally in the second half. Then you lose to Harbor Beach. You lose to K-Pac. So you start 5-0, and then you go 1-5 in your next 6. With Harbor Beach loss, no harm, no foul. Kingston loss, that was a tough one because they were in that game for 3 quarters. North Branch one obviously hurts because it was a 2-point game. The K-Pac one, we've talked about K-Pac on the show. They're not just a freebie like they've been in the past.
Yeah.
But obviously that's still a game that you would have liked to have. Ubley, that's a good Ubley team, Eddie.
Yes.
That is an Ubley team that pushed Harbor Beach.
They did, yeah.
That is an Ubley team that is 6-4 on the season now. And, they have the ability to score a lot of points with Colin Franzel. And, they scored 54 against Sandusky, but wow, just a great win for Sandusky because, you're going through a stretch where you're 1-5 and you could really start to get down on yourselves, or you could really start to check out. But instead, you pick up a big win, and now, you pick up a big win, first of all, but now you can kind of start rolling, hopefully.
Hopefully this just brings the whole team together.
Right.
With that comeback win.
Right. And, you needed this win for obvious reasons, but another reason you needed this win is you've got 2 big rivalry games coming up.
Yeah.
At Marlette and then home against Brown City.
An improving Brown City team here.
Yes, absolutely.
Tomorrow.
And we'll get into Brown City. But, not to take anything away from Brown City or Marlette, since I cover all 3 teams, I would say those are all toss-up games.
Mm-hmm.
But if Sandusky wins both of those, then you got Memphis, then you got All Saints, and then you get the rematch with Harbor Beach. If you get rolling and, figure things out and continue to play strong defense like they have been, during the 1-5 stretch, they played good defense. Obviously they gave up 66 to Yale, but that's Yale. They had a couple of bad quarters against Harbor Beach, but they still held them to 52 points. So if you continue to play good defense like they have been all season, maybe get on a little bit of a roll here, and maybe that second matchup with Harbor Beach goes a little bit differently. But just a couple of stats from the Ubley game. We won't take a look at the K-Pac game because we've moved on, Eddie.
Okay.
The 1-5 stretch is over. We're not talking about it anymore.
Still a good win by K-Pac, though. So.
It was, yes. Yes, absolutely. In the win against Ubley, Jack Betts, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Riley Locke, 12 points, 5 rebounds. Brandon Champeau, he's emerging as a great player, Eddie.
Yeah.
12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Gavin Phillips, he's the guy that makes everything go for Sandusky. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And your favorite player, Carter Shell, had 6 points and 5 rebounds.
Love the headband.
So, when this team is at full strength and when they are playing defense, which they usually are playing defense, I think they're a good team. I think when you look at Sandusky, you kind of wonder, are they the team that started 5-0 or are they the team that went 1-5 after that? And I think they're more of the team that started the season 5-0. And now is the time for them to get back into playing that type of basketball.
So they're at Marlette tomorrow and on Friday home against Brown City. Tough opponent. Ubly, by the way, you mentioned them. They only lost to Harbor Beach last week, 50-58.
Right.
And they lost to Sandusky, so back-to-back losses there.
Well, and
Ubly.
Colin Franzel is a super talented player for Ubly. He had 9 3-pointers, tied the school record. I believe he had 21 against Sandusky, but this team, they're always going to play defense, so that's always going to keep them in games. And when your offense is at full strength, it's a very good offense as well.
Ubly themselves, though, they're at Brown City and then Marlette home on Friday. So it's funny how these 3 teams or 4 teams here, this nucleus, are all playing against each other this week. K-Pac, they have Memphis, and they're at Carsonville-Port Sanilac on Friday. Now, Brown City, I got to cover this team. This is an improving team. They're starting to come together. We thought this would be a pretty down season. Now, they played against Marlette, but this ended up being an entertaining game for our game of the week last week on Friday night with myself and Jeremy Burgess. You were there as well. This ended up being a pretty good game. We thought that Brown City was just kind of blow out Marlette. Marlette started to come back and got within 3. Yeah, I got away from them, but it's great to see Marlette starting to come together here, when you didn't know for sure if this team could do it. There were a lot of mistakes made by this Marlette team, and I'm sure Coach Pennington was talking to him about it. But for Coach, for the Brown City Green Devils, and as a whole team, Robert Hatton, I thought, did a heck of a job there. They were undersized. Marlette has great height. You're right. I'm liking the player out there. The Martin kid, is it?
For Marlette.
For Marlette?
I thought Johnson played well in the post, but Logan Smith had a good game as well.
You got your bigs out there.
Yeah.
And while Brown City's undersized. So they used their speed, but also they hit the boards a lot. Their second chance shots, they did great on the free throw line. Had Marlette put that together, this might be a different look to this game, and Marlette might have pulled off this upset, but it couldn't come together for them. It did for Brown City.
Yeah, and for Marlette, we talked about it at the game, after the game. When you are going to play in a 44-34 game where points are hard to come by, and both teams are playing pretty good defense, you're not getting a lot of fast break opportunities either way. Free throws are going to be the difference. And for Brown City, they were 12 of 13 from the free throw line, while Marlette was 8 of 17.
Wow.
And we did see them go on that little bit of a run in the third quarter. They came out and they had a spark, and they just couldn't continue that consistency offensively. But Marlette defensively, I thought they played well. And looking at,
they probably got 2 of the tallest players in the Big Thumb Black Division, I believe.
Possibly. I mean, they've got size.
Yeah.
And, Luke Thomas, I love watching Luke Thomas play basketball. He gives
he's got some height too.
He gives 190% on every single play.
Yep.
And it was kind of interesting, seeing him match up with Garrett Simpson. I don't know if you and Jeremy noticed, Luke Thomas was face guarding Garrett Simpson all night.
Because Garrett Simpson, if he gets open for a 3, he's knocking it down.
Yes, so. And it was a good strategy for Marlette. Now Garrett Simpson still ended up with 13 because Eddie,
got open.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah,
he went 6 of 6 from the free throw line. I
mean, if he wasn't going to do it on the 3, he did it on the charity stripe. So,
well, coming into the game, I was most excited. First of all, I was excited to see how Marlette and Brown City would match up in the post. Now, Marlette did get some good scoring opportunities in the post, which for Brown City, there's only so much you can do when you don't have that size. But Logan Smith had a great game. So I was looking forward to seeing how that went. I think Brown City rebounded very well.
Yeah.
They don't have the size, but they work. And, rebounding, if you get a good box out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And they work hard, and they make up for their lack of size down low. But what I was really looking forward to watching was Garrett Simpson, because earlier in the week, he had 9 3-pointers against Landmark, 27 points, and he didn't play in the fourth quarter. So on the season coming into that game, he had scored 143 points, 34 3-pointers. So 102 of his 143 points have come from 3-pointers. So if you're Marlette, put Luke Thomas on him. Try and take him out of the game. And, at times it was more of 4-on-4 basketball, because, Simpson is just in the corner and Luke Thomas is just staring at his chest. But Luke Thomas I thought was awesome. He had a nice buzzer beater half quarter at the end of the game. Unfortunately, it was a little bit out of time. But this Marlette team, they're going to continue, Marlette and Brown City both, but with Brown City, they're going to continue to improve, but you also know what what you're going to get.
We got to fix too.
Yeah. So, you know what you're going to get from Lawson Cooper, from Garrett Simpson. Those guys are proven commodities. With Marlette, they're still kind of working different players into the rotation. A lot of players played, and they're kind of looking for that go-to guy. And if they continue to play good defense, which earlier in the week, I was coming into the game, Marlette's record obviously not great, but they were coming off of a very nice win, Eddie. Where they went to Memphis and they won 40-23. Now, Talon Yos, we've talked about him on this show. He was averaging 25 points per game coming into that matchup, and Marlette held him to 12 points. So while Marlette is still figuring things out offensively, they can still lean on their defense to keep them in games, and also the pace of play that they have. If you can keep teams around 40 points per game, that's going to give your offense a chance. Even if you don't have the best scoring ability right now, you could still get to 40 points. You can win a 40-38 game. It doesn't matter how you win it. But they will have Sandusky up next. Which
it's tomorrow, Wednesday.
And then Ubley, and then Harbor Beach.
Yeah, they got the gauntlet coming up here.
Yeah.
On the 21st against Sandusky, that's a home game. On the road at Ubley on Friday night, the 23rd of January, and then next week they're at Harbor Beach on the road, and then Marlette on the 30th. Marlette hosts K-Pac on the 30th. So that's for Marlette. Brown City, they've got Ubley tomorrow. Huge game for Brown City. They'll host that one. And then, of course, their rival against Sandusky on the 23rd. And that's at Sandusky for Brown City. Next week at K-Pac, Harbor Beach, they got a gauntlet themselves. So
Yep. But Brown City with a 3-game winning streak currently sitting at 6-4. I think they've exceeded their own expectations of where they would be at this point in the season. They're currently sitting in second place in the Black Division at 2-1. But yeah, tough games coming up. The Ubley game, Garrett Simpson and Colin Franzel might combine for 60 points. 10 3-pointers apiece, and so that should be an exciting game. It helps that they're at home. Sandusky Brown City, Eddie, that's gonna be an exciting game. And then after that, you got to go to K-Pac and then Harbor Beach. So.
All right, looking real quick in the Big Thumb Conference White Division, the Lakers in first place at 5-0. They are 9-2 overall. Their losses to Sandusky and Harbor Beach in cross-conference play. So they're undefeated in the White Division. Cass City in second place at 4-1, 6-4 overall. And they had a huge win over Carroll last week, 42-40. Great win for Cass City. Last week also they won over Vassar, 53-43. Cass City 4-1 in league play. Carroll 3-2 in league play. Their losses to Cass City and Lakers. close games, by the way, within a point or two. 8-3 overall. Millington 3-2, 5-3. Reese 3-2, 6-4 overall. Unionville Sebring 2-3, 5-6. Vassar 0-5 in league play, 2-9 overall. Bad Axe 0-5 and 1-8. You know, Millington, Reese are still in the mix, as well as Carroll. We know their losses by a couple points to Cass City and Lakers. This week for the Lakers, they've got games against Unionville Sebring and Vassar next week. Big league showdown against Cass City on the 28th, and at Carroll with the rematch on the 30th for the Lakers. Cass City this week, Millington and Reese. You can't look past those teams. Again, their big game at Lakers on the 28th next week, and they'll have Bad Axe on the 30th. Carroll themselves, they're against Reese and Millington. And then, hey, look at this matchup next week. They'll have Harbor Beach at Carroll and Bad Axe and Lakers next week. A little bit of a mini gauntlet for the Carroll Tigers. So that's a Big Thumb Conference White Division. That's a little bit of a horse race still, I think, you know?
Oh,
Lakers
absolutely, yeah.
are barely winning some of these games against the top teams, which is White Division, a pretty strong conference.
Well, I think the Cass City win against Carroll opened some eyes because Cass City didn't have the greatest start to the season. They lost to Sandusky in the season opener. You lose to Midland Calvary Baptist. You beat Hemlock, but then you lose to Lakers.
Close one.
Close one. You beat Kingston. You lose to Harbor Beach. Another close one.
Hung in there.
In there.
Yeah, 47-54 loss.
You know, that's probably the point where we should have said, hey, this Cass City team's pretty good. You know, they're hanging with some tough teams. Now you've beaten Bad Axe, beaten USA, beat Vassar, beat Carroll in Carroll.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the Black Division, it's unfortunate because, you know, I cover Brown City, Marlette, and Sandusky, but until somebody beats Harbor Beach, it's currently Harbor Beach and everybody else when it comes to the conference races.
Yeah.
Harbor Beach has already beaten Sandusky, Marlette, and Brown City. Whereas in the White Division, you're looking at 4 to 5 teams that are still in the hunt for this conference championship. I would lean towards Lakers being the favorite. But, you know, it took overtime to beat Carroll. I don't know. They hung with Harbor Beach, too. I don't know.
I think it's still up for grabs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for the White Division and Big Thumb Conference. All right, when we come back, we got the Big Thumb Conference, the Red and Blue Divisions, formerly known as the NCTL, when we come back here on Thumb Sportsline. We'll be right back here on WMIC.
From Graf Chevrolet of Sandusky, here's Sam and Scott.
2025 is in the rearview mirror, and we plan on making history in 26. We have one remaining 25 Silverado, and we slashed the price on this truck in order to move it out.
You can save up to $15,700 on our remaining 25 Silverados on the lot. This includes demo savings, trade-in, and GM rewards, card sign, and spend. This truck retails for over $62,000. You can get this now for only $46,500. Loaded up with a V8 and leather, it'll be tough to beat this deal.
Current Chevy lessees can get into a very well-equipped 26 Silverado 2FL for as low as $292 a month. Or you can purchase this $55,000 truck for as low as $41,750.
If you're looking for a good pre-owned car, SUV, or truck, Car Bravo is now offering a 12-month, 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
And Car Bravo also offers financing with rates as low as 3.9%, with prices starting at $11,900.
That's right, Sam. We currently have a good selection of 3/4-ton trucks and SUVs on the lot, as well as Suburbans with highly sought-after Duramax engines.
So start the new year off by saving big at Graf Chevrolet on M46 in Sandusky. See dealer for details.
Graf family, we're making friends.
It's Bar Talk without the bar. Hi, it's Sean Cantwell. Join me and Adam Harahuk every Monday and Friday here on the Voice of the Thumb, WMIC 660 and 95.3 FM for Happy Hour. We talk sports, music, pop culture, beer. Anything you talk about with your friends at the bar, we talk about it here on Happy Hour. So pull up a stool and join the conversation Monday and Fridays from 5:30 to 7 right here on the Voice of the Thumb, WMIC 660 and 95.3 FM.
Welcome back to Thumb Sports Line on WMIC 95.3 FM. And again, this show has been pre-recorded due to the fact we have our high school boys basketball game on 92.5 FM WBGB in a Blue Water Area Conference Showdown with the Croswell Lexington Pioneers at the Yale Bulldogs. So tune in for that. A replay of this show, of course, if you turn that dial over to 92.5, a replay of this Thumb Sports Line show will be available by tomorrow. Let's look into the Big Thumb Conference. Now into the Blue Division. In first place in league play, in conference play, it's Dryden at 2-0, Kingston at 2-0, Deckerville 1-1, Bay City All St. Cougars at 1-2, Mayville Wildcats 0-3. Overall, Dryden is 6-6, Kingston 5-7. Don't let that record fool you. Deckerville at 5-5, All Saints at 3-8, and 5-5 is Mayville. Now, the Kingston Cardinals, they have a game at Deckerville tomorrow, and boys basketball, a non-league showdown at Ubley. So again, they're picking up another strong team for their schedule. Next week, they'll have Sterling Heights Parkway Christian, and Dryden is a huge showdown come the 30th when they'll take on Kingston, a boys basketball team. Deckerville Eagles, they're right there with Dryden. And they've already played, I do believe, in league play last week. They lost to Dryden 60-38. Tough loss there for Deckerville. I mean, this is the first round matchup, but now they got another tough team. They got Kingston. They'll have Peck again for winter homecoming on Friday night this week. So that's a non-league game, but still, they would love to avenge their earlier season loss against Peck 46-24.
Yeah, so last week when we were talking about Deckerville, they had All Saints, Dryden, and Kingston coming up, and we said, well, if you can win 2 out of 3 of those, you got to feel okay.
Yeah.
Now, the All Saints game got canceled, or not canceled, postponed.
Yeah.
And they lose to Dryden. So now you got to sweep Kingston, or you got to beat Kingston, and you got to beat All Saints. But this is gonna be a tough week for Deckerville.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to be at home both games, so that'll help. But Kingston, when you look at Kingston and Dryden, they're both 2-0 in the Big Thumb Conference. Dryden's 500 overall, and Kingston has a losing record. But you have to look a little bit deeper. Both of these teams have put together incredibly tough non-conference schedules. So, Dryden's a good team. Yeah, they're 6-6, but they're a good team. Kingston, yeah, they're 5-7, but they're a good team. And then when you look at that matchup with Peck on Friday, that was one of Deckerville's tougher losses, losing 46-24. So obviously there's going to be a lot of extra motivation for Deckerville in that game. But overall last week, obviously the Dryden loss was tough. But the USA loss, that one really hurts. Well, I guess it doesn't really hurt because it wasn't in conference play. But it was the fact that they went on the road.
They were leading that game.
And they were leading, yeah. Because, but it's encouraging because, hey, you can play with bigger teams. You can play with a team from the Big Thumb White Division. But Deckerville led 34-31 entering the fourth quarter. But Justin Jacobs took over in the fourth. He had a game-high 18 points, and he scored 9 in the fourth quarter as the Patriots finished the game on a 15-5 run. Jacobs was 10 of 13 from the free throw line. The Dryden game, it looks like it was just similar to what we saw in the Sandusky Harbor Beach game a couple weeks ago. You get off to a good start in the first quarter, and then the other team just takes over for the second and third quarters. Dryden led 13-12 after the first quarter, But in the second and third, Dryden went on a 39-9 run. So for Deckerville, it's, obviously
39 points.
39 points.
Oh,
yeah.
boy, that hurts.
Yeah. But Deckerville did finish the game on a 17-8 run.
Okay.
So obviously, simple solution. You got to figure out a way to stop these long runs. You got to figure out a way to get a stop or, get some points or but Deckerville's still a good team. Obviously, pretty discouraging results last week. But you hung with USA for 3 quarters. You played Dryden tough in 2 of the 4 quarters. And you've got a nice trio of scorers so far this season in Jesse Kubacki, Brandon Solowitz, and Logan Shanks. And Evan Benji has been playing well at the point guard position too, but every night for Deckerville, it's somebody else that's going to step up. Solowitz has been pretty consistently around 8 or 9 points a game, but he kind of does a little bit of everything. He rebounds, he passes, he plays defense. Kubacki, he's emerging as one of Deckerville's best scorers. Same thing with Logan Shanks, and those were 2 players that didn't have huge roles last season. So Deckerville, there's a lot of bright spots there still. Obviously, you would have liked to win last week, but I think you got to look at the fact that you played USA tough, and you have the ability to play with Dryden. But now it'll just be about putting it all together for the second time around. Kingston's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Peck's going to be a tough one. And then you're at All Saints and home against North Huron, at Akron Fairgrove. And then you got Reese and Cass City at home. So, they're not out of it by any means. They still, if you beat Kingston, what is it, tonight or tomorrow?
They got Kingston tomorrow on Wednesday, the 21st of January. Yep.
Okay.
And Peck is Friday night. And then they're at All Saints next week on the 26th. Home against North Huron, at Akron Fairgrove on the 30th. And then Reese, Cass City when you get into February schedule. So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's for the Deckerville Eagles. Kingston Cardinals, like we had mentioned, they do have Deckerville this week, but they also have a big matchup at Ubley. They'll have Sterling Heights Parkway Christian, and their meeting against Dryden comes on January 30th. You mentioned Peck Pirates. Peck Pirates last week had one game, got the win over North Huron 67-41. That was a league game for the Peck Pirates. They're 6-5 overall, but 2-0 in conference play. The Red Division of Big Thumb Conference. Akron Fairgrove is 1-0, 3-5, 5-7 overall is North Huron, which was a key win for Peck to get that last week. 2-2 in league play. Carson LaPorte Sanilac Tigers are 1-1, 3-5 overall. 2-10 is Caseville, 0-3 in league play. So the Peck Pirates, speaking of Carson LaPorte Sanilac, that's who they got tomorrow at CPS on Wednesday.
Yeah, that'll be a fun matchup. CPS unfortunately didn't get any games in last week due to the weather, but Peck got to play North Huron, and it was probably their best all-around performance of the season. They've had nice wins. They've beat Brown City. They beat Marlette. But overall, start to finish, as a team, this was probably Peck's best wins of the season. Obviously, it started with Thomas West and Eddie. The stat line, every week we talk about Thomas West. Thomas West caught 7 passes for 500 yards, or all of the fall and now all the basketball season. We talk about Thomas West, but against North Huron, he had 18 points. He was 6 of 10 from the field and 5 of 6 from the free throw line. So 18 points. You take 10 shots, you make 6 of them. But the most impressive thing about his performance, he had 4 blocks, but again, that's something we've just come to expect from Thomas West. he had a career high 9 assists and 0 turnovers. And what we're seeing with Peck recently is these players around Thomas West stepping up and playing great basketball. And they have all season, but now you're seeing these players score more points. Thomas West, it starts with him because obviously teams have to focus their defensive game plans against him, and that's going to open up scoring opportunities for other players. Cody Cairo had a career-high 20 points in the game. He's having a great season. Lucas Trombley, he had 11 points, which he's been a pleasant surprise for Peck this season. I think a little bit kind of flies under the radar, but he's a great fit for that offense, and he plays real hard. And then Aiden Alfaro also had 11 points. He added 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Cairo had 3 3-pointers, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. So it's similar to what we were talking about with Croslex earlier in the show, where, yeah, it's cool if Max Knoll and Cam Saunders are both scoring 20 points a game, but that's not going to give you sustained success. It's not going to, you're not going to win games in the playoffs like that. And with Peck, it's the same thing. Yeah, Thomas West is averaging almost 20 points a game, but you need these players around him to be playing good basketball as well, and they're up to the challenge. Cody Cairo's a really nice player. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's a great free throw shooter as well. It's a nice win for Peck. I think now that Peck is in the Red Division play, we're going to be having a lot of conversations like this. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, another big game from Thomas West, and Aiden Alfaro, he scored 15 tonight, or but I'm looking forward to this matchup with CPS because this is a better CPS team in the second season under Eric Taylor. So that'll be a fun one. Deckerville Peck, I think it will be closer than the first time around.
Okay.
But only because it was 46-24 the first time around. But, if you're Peck, you have CPS, Deckerville, Mayville, New Haven, Merritt, and then you're at Bad Axe, home against Caseville, home against Memphis, at Akron, at North Huron, home against CPS. Is there any game that I just mentioned where you would say Peck is not the favorite in that game?
Yeah. At this point.
At this point, yeah.
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 And their division of the Red Division of the Big Thumb Conference.
Right.
Carsonville Port Sanilac, as we mentioned, tomorrow on Wednesday, the January 21st game, they host Peck. They have K-Pack on their schedule on Friday night. Next week, they have at Memphis and Mayville. So non-league games coming up for the Carsonville Port Sanilac Tigers. That's a Big Thumb Conference Red and Blue divisions. When we come back, we'll talk high school girls basketball. It is Thumb Sports Line, your January 20th, 2026 edition here on WMIC 95.3 FM.
Hi, Todd Bowers here with More Motors of Carroll. Our selection of Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is the best it's ever been. When you shop More Motors of Carroll for your next vehicle purchase, you get to experience car buying the way it should be. Fair, open, and honest. It's simple, yet so many other dealers, especially city dealers, can't follow through like we do. Come see me, Todd Bowers, at More Motors of Carroll, locally owned since 1965. Come see why your friends and neighbors are driving the Carroll.
Hello, radio listeners. This is Mike from More Motors. Here at More, unlike city dealers, we will not charge you a prep fee. What we care about here at More is giving you a great buying experience, and helping you pick the right vehicle is a big part of that. Here at Moore's, we constantly get vehicles in that aren't here long enough to advertise. So please call us and tell us exactly what you're looking for in case it's not in stock. Our staff is ready to take care of you before, during, and most importantly, after the sale.
Coming to you Saturday mornings at 9 from our studios in downtown Croswell, it's the Cavalcade Radio Hour, a celebration of the golden era of recordings. It's all on the original vinyl in a mix of mid-century music you just can't hear anywhere else, and a new Cavalcade spotlight each week. That's Saturdays at 9 a.m. here on WMIC, 660 a.m. and 95.3 FM, Sandusky.
Liberty Lanes and Sandusky salutes the area athletes for their accomplishments and academic achievements. On your way to or from the game, come on into Liberty Lanes for a pizza or one of the many tasty entrees on the menu. Enjoy their Friday fish specials and come back for the Sunday brunch. Liberty Lanes also has banquet facilities available. For information or to place an order to go, call 810-648-9860. That's 810-648-9860. Liberty Lanes, your family dining and bowling center in West Park, Sandusky. Serving you for more than 40 years. You can find Liberty Lanes on Facebook. We are back here on WMIC 95.3 FM. It is time for high school girls basketball talk on Thumb Sportsline. We'll dive right into the Blue Water Area Conference. This show has been pre-recorded because of our live high school boys basketball game with Croswell-Lexington at the Yale Bulldog Boys. That game on 92.5. Now, let's go into the Blue Water Area Conference in girls. Croswell-Lexington, they were supposed to have a game against the Kingston Cardinals, one of the top teams in our Thumb area, but weather doused that, and that will be rescheduled for later in February, I believe. Now, in first place, the Yale Bulldog girls at 8-1. Yes, they have a loss. That happened last night against New Baltimore Anchor Bay. Now, in league play, they're 6-0 overall. Armada at 5-1, and Croswell-Lexington suffering 2 straight losses of league opponents. They are 4-2 overall. Emily City still in the mix at 4-2. Overall, North Branch 3-3, 4-6 overall. Richmond 3-6, 2-7 is Almont and Algonac, and 2-7. So the race right now between Yale, Armada, Croswell-Lexington, and Emily City, one game behind from second place, but Yale Bulldogs doing quite well. Now, Croswell-Lexington, they got North Branch on the 22nd this week. Next week, the big showdown at the Yale Bulldogs, and the first round meeting. That's a Tuesday night game, and then they'll have Richmond on the 30th. But Croswell-Lexington, 2 straight losses to those 2 top league opponents. We talked about this. They lose to Emily City on the 13th, 46-54. They were in that game, and then they lose by 7 to Armada on Friday night, 60-53. Tough losses here for Croswell-Lexington Pioneer girls.
Tough losses, but I think they were good measuring stick games for the Pioneers. We talked about it last week on the show. They got off to a great start in BWAC play. However, they had only played the teams in the bottom of the rankings when it comes to conference play. Yeah, you didn't win either of the games, but it was single-score games. Or single-digit deficits in both games. So now you know that you can hang with these teams. When you have the chance to play them the second time around, you can hopefully clean up a couple of things. I believe, were these both road games for Croslex?
Last week for Croslex, those were road games.
They were both road games, so you'll have them at home the next time around. So yeah, it hurts that you lost 2 games. It's definitely going to make competing for the title a little bit harder, but definitely encouraging stuff from the Croslex Pioneers last week. Against Emily City, they were down 3 after the first quarter, and they were down 7 at halftime. They cut the lead to 5 in the third quarter, but Emily City closed out the game with an 18-15 run. I apologize because I'm probably going to mispronounce this. Alexis Bruer from Emily City had 29 points, adding 8 steals. Penelope Persig led the Pioneers with 15 points, and Ella McMillan had 12. The Armada game, again, close game.
Yeah.
They got out to a 13-12 lead after the first quarter, trailed by 1 at halftime, but Armada was able to finish the second half by outscoring Croslex 38-32. Again, tough losses, but still good things to see. Now you've got, let's see.
They've got North Branch coming up.
Okay.
On the 22nd, and then next week at Yale. Okay. That's a road game. So all those next meetings against Yale, Armada, Emily City, they'll be all at home.
Interesting how that worked out. Yeah, I mean, it works out well for Croslex because the second time around, Croslex should be a better team.
And that happens in February. February 5th against Armada, February 10th against Emily City. And they have Yale on the 20th. And that'll be a doubleheader with boys, too. So, and then they'll finish the end of the regular season at Almont and Port Huron. But first things first, you got to take care of North Branch. Yeah, and then for this week, and then next week at Yale. Yale suffered the first loss of the regular season last night. They played a game, New Baltimore Anchor Bay, 38-47. That was a non-league game. Yale's been taking care of business. Sadie Dykstra, once again, one of the top players for the Yale Bulldogs, just fantastic throughout her whole career. She's been the catalyst, but she has been getting some help. But, when you get a player that score at least half your points, that's a good thing here. But they'll be on the road at Unionville-Seaboing. That's a strong game for USA to take on Yale Bulldogs. And then that's happening tonight. And then Yale is at Richmond on the 22nd. And again, I guess that showdown hosting Croswell Lexington on the 27th. That's a week from tonight. So there you go. Blue Water Area Conference. You got anything to add?
Just real quick, Armada, kudos to the Tigers. Obviously it came at the expense of Croslex, but Armada needed that win to keep pace with Yale. Yale 6-0, Armada 5-1. Croslex and Emily City both at 4-2. They're still in the conversation. But when you look at these teams, obviously Croslex hasn't played Yale yet, but Armada, hung with Yale the first time around. It was 36-32. So good job by the Tigers to keep pace. And then the Croslex Kingston game is rescheduled for February 13th, which should be a pretty good game.
Yeah, and Armada has Almont and North Branch come next week. Almont this week. Emily City next week and North Branch. And Emily City themselves, they had a loss to Marysville last night, 33-58. This week they have Algonac. That's on the 23rd on Friday. Next week at Richmond and at Armada. Emily City can get back in this race if they can beat Armada when they meet up. And that's the second meeting, so that'll be the final league meeting. By the way, Emily City playing Kingston, too.
Very nice.
February 2nd. Kingston's just stacking that schedule. So.
Of course.
All right, let's move on into the Big Thumb Conference of the
How about you run through the white real quick?
You want me to run through the white?
Run through the white, yeah.
Okay, for the Cass City Red Hawk girls, they're hanging in there, and it's pretty tough. They're coming off a win over USA, huge win last week, 57-41, and now they have Carroll tonight. That's the huge matchup in the white division of high school girls basketball. They'll have Millington later this week on the 22nd. Next week, Reese and Lakers. But Cass City and Carroll are tied in the Big Thumb white division, 3-0. Somebody's going to come away with a loss after tonight. 7-1 is Carroll Tigers overall. 6-2 is the Cass City Red Hawk girls. Their two losses were back-to-back to Hemlock and Kingston. Since then, they've had 4 straight wins over Harbor Beach, Lakers, Bad Axe, and then last week, a huge win over Unionville-Seaboing, 57-41, as USA was looking pretty good at 6-2, but now they fall 2-2 in league play. Reese at 2-1 in league play. They are 6-2 overall. Reese girls themselves, they're the ones that knocked off Lakers last week and Bad Axe. Their game against Memphis was postponed from last night. They'll be at Millington, and they'll have the Carroll Tigers, and then Cass City next week. So a little bit of mini gauntlet there for the Reese Rocket girls. All right, that's where we're at right now. But tonight's exciting matchup with Cass City in action as go up against Cass City tonight. Carroll and Cass City tonight. So looking forward to that one. Now we move over to the Big Thumb Black Division. The Sandusky Wolf girls in first place at 2-0. So are the Brown City Green Devil girls in league play. 7-1 overall is Brown City, and that was a loss to the Yale Bulldogs.
No,
that was Sandusky had the loss to Yale Bulldogs. You're right. Brown City had the loss to Kingston Cardinals.
Right.
So Sandusky last week got the nice win, 10-point win over Harbor Beach, 30-20. Now they've got Ubly tonight. A little bit of a scary game there, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Ubly, definitely. Ubly.
For Sandusky girls tonight.
Right. But credit to the Wolves going up to Harbor Beach, talking to Al DeMont. A couple of his players got into some early foul trouble, and Emma Merriman stepped up, scored a game-high 9 points for the Wolves. And it's typical Sandusky, it's extremely balanced offensive attack. You never know who's going to step up and have the big game that night. But Emma Merriman had a great game, really helped out in the backcourt, when, Maggie Kyneth and Caroline Reinke picked up 2 quick fouls, because this game was a little bit, shaky. Maybe I would say, we were getting score updates from that game, and it was, things are kind of close, and then Sandusky wins by 10.
They do what they do in the final quarter.
They do what they always do.
In the final quarter.
Yes,
they pull away.
Put it together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's very hard to play 4 quarters against Sandusky. You can hang around with them for a little bit, but and they've especially proven that this year that looking at the Peck game, Peck hung around for a while until Sandusky pulled away. But it was 7-7 after the first quarter. It was 11-10 at halftime in favor of Sandusky, and then they went on an 8-6 run in the third. Got a little bit of breathing room. And then the fourth quarter, 11-4 run, 4 different scores. Reinke scored 2. Merriman had 4 points in the fourth quarter. Riley Moore had a bucket. And, of course, Maggie Kyneth hit a big 3-pointer. So typical Sandusky win. These games at Harbor Beach can be tricky. So, nice to get that out of the way at least. Kyneth finished with 8 points. Reinke, 7 points, 7 steals, 5 assists. Riley Moore, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. And Cora Arbaugh had 4 points. Taking care of business. Ubly.
Got to take care of Ubly tonight, though.
Got to take care of Ubly.
Yeah.
And then Marlette, that's a rivalry game. But as fans of girls basketball in Sanilac County, we can look ahead to that Sandusky Brown City matchup.
Yeah,
we can overlook some opponents.
And guess what? That'll be another Tuesday night game for myself.
Perfect.
It'll be Brown City Green Devil girls at the Sandusky Wolves. That on January 27th. They'll be on WBGB 92.5 FM. Brown City themselves took care of business. They took care of Harbor Beach a couple weeks ago, 45-33. That was our first game of the week, and they played Memphis, took care of that 52-14, but they had to cancel and postpone their game against Deckerville if that will get played from last week on the 15th. Tonight,
I hope they're able to reschedule that one.
Yeah, I know Deckerville wanted to play them. Tonight, Brown City is hosting Marlette, and then Ubly in this mix between Brown City and Sandusky. Brown City will have their crack at Ubly, and that's on the 22nd on Thursday night. Then, of course, next week on Tuesday at Sandusky for Brown City. Brown City only 1 loss. That was to the Yale Bulldogs. The Kingston Cardinals, 39-65. I keep getting that mixed up. And Sandusky's lone loss was to Yale. So, here we go. Brown City looked pretty good. Has it fully come together when you come up against this Sandusky Wolves girls team?
I think so. And not to dwell on the Memphis win for too long, because it was 20-0 after the first quarter, 31-2 at halftime. 9 different players scored for Brown City. Harley Leisure got her usual 21 points, adding 7 steals. Maddie Thorley scored 6 points in the first quarter. Chloe Hayes, 4 points, 5 assists. Hard to really take too much out of that. You took care of business. You did what you had to do. Brown City has been really impressive. looking at the respective schedules for Sandusky and Brown City, they're pretty similar. They both lost to the uber talented teams in Yale and Kingston. I think and we've been talking about it a lot tonight on this show. It's going to be which role players step up for Brown City. Now, Harley Leisure, she's talented enough where I could see her getting 20-plus points against Sandusky. But I could also see Sandusky slowing things down, kind of playing their game and, trying to limit her possessions. So rebounding is going to be a big thing. Who controls the boards? You got to make sure Sandusky doesn't get those second chance opportunities. And for Sandusky, yes, they usually do what they do in the fourth quarter and they pull away from teams. But ideally, you'd like to have a little bit of a cushion against Brown City, because not that Harbor, I think Brown City obviously is a better team than Harbor Beach because Brown City already beat Harbor Beach. You can't let Brown City hang around. And if you're Brown City, we saw it last season, that game at Brown City where it was close in the first quarter and then Sandusky just went on a humongous run. And it was Brown City played them close for 3 quarters, but it was just that second quarter proved to be the difference. So you're going to have to limit the Sandusky runs. I'm excited about it, just because there's a lot of great players. Harley Leisure obviously, but Maddie Thorley and Chloe Hayes have gotten, even over the past couple weeks have emerged as very good players. You saw Chloe Hayes, what she did in the Harbor Beach game. And for Sandusky, it's, they might not have a girl score over 10 points, but they're going to have 7 or 8 or 9 girls score. So it should be a great matchup. It'll be at Sandusky. And, it's essentially, it's pretty much for I don't want to say it's for the league title because they both have to play each other again, but the winner of this game has to feel pretty comfortable with where they're at after the game.
Okay, so for Harbor Beach themselves this week, their game against Ubley was postponed from last week because of the weather, and they'll have Kingston on the 26th and Memphis on the 27th in a couple of weeks. Memphis themselves, they will have Deckerville tonight on the road, and they'll have Peck on the 22nd, and New Life Christian this week, CPS next week, and Harbor Beach in league play on the 27th. Marlette themselves, they didn't have a game last week. It was canceled. They did play in the beginning of the week. We already talked about that. They won that one 47-18. They'll have Brown City this week and Sandusky this week. Oh, boy, what a gauntlet for the Marlette Red Raider girls.
Yeah, pretty tough there. You get Akron Fairgrove after that, and then you're back into Black Division play with Ubley and Harbor Beach. So, interesting stretch for Marlette here.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break and come back about the Big Thumb Conference and Blue and Red Divisions here on Thumb Sportsline on WMI.
Got it all.
Farmers, right now, you're not in the field. It's the perfect time to take advantage of Tri-County Equipment's off-season service and inspection program. This program includes inspections for square and round balers, combines, utility tractors, row crop tractors, and four-wheel drive tractors. The John Deere specialists at Tri-County Equipment will come right to your farm and do on-site inspections. Call or stop in at your nearest Tri-County Equipment location for complete information. Tri-County Equipment, your locally owned John Deere dealer, with 11 locations serving Michigan farmers in Sandusky, Marlette, Bad Axe, Carroll, Burton, Lapeer, Fenton, Reese, Saginaw, Birch Run, and Auburn Hills. Visit them on the website at tricountyequipment.net and like them on Facebook.
Tri-County Equipment, we got it all.
Hey, it's Skinner, the host of On the Porch, where you will find no bro country, no pop country, maybe some whiskey drinking country, but that's what we're here for. Every Friday night from midnight to 2 a.m., you can join me on the porch for a wide array of Americana, Texas country, Appalachia country, outlaw country, just nothing you'll hear on mainstream country radio. You can find me every Friday from midnight to 2 a.m. on 95.3 WMIC.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Michigan, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back to WMIC 95.3 FM. It is Thumb Sportsline. Eddie Fury Review as we dive into the Big Thumb Conference of girls basketball once again in the Blue Division. It's Kingston Cardinals on top right now, still undefeated, still taking on that competition. That salivating game against Croswell Lexington was canceled, but it will be played in February. The Kingston Cardinals tonight has the Peck Pirates. And against big showdown on WIDL 92.1, Scott Bowlesby of the Tuscola County Advertiser will have the Thursday night game, the Deckerville Eagle Girls at the Kingston Cardinals. And Kingston has Harbor Beach next week, Ubly, Emily City, North Branch under schedule, Lake Orion, before they get back to league play in Mayville. They got a league game this week against the Deckerville Eagles and the Peck Pirate Girls tonight. Kingston Cardinals, they are phenomenal once again. Just when you thought they might take a step back, no, Molly Walker still has a heck of supporting players on this team, much like what Kingston does. But
you thought they were going to take a step back?
I don't. You
got to be careful with that Kingston bulletin board.
Well, then I look, I go, oh, the Walker. There's still a Walker girl on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, Kingston undefeated. They've been running through teams 9-0 overall, 1-0 league play. Huge league game tonight against Peck Pirates, and then Deckerville on Thursday, back-to-back. Deckerville took care of Peck earlier last week. That was our game of the week. 62-42, 20-point loss for the Peck Pirate Girls, but I thought Deckerville Eagle Girls played well. Both teams you really didn't get a break. They were going up and down the court.
Mm-hmm. It was a good game.
It was a tight, up and down the court. Just the shots fell a little bit better for the Deckerville Eagles, and they had a lot of trips to the free throw line as well.
Yes, absolutely. And, it was kind of a one-girl show for Peck with Aletta Jones. She had 24 points and 16 rebounds. She had just an awesome game, but Deckerville counters that with three girls finishing with a double-double. Libby Tank led the way with 21 points and a season-high 17 rebounds. She was 8 of 12 from the free throw line. Maylee Tank finished with 13 points and 11 rebounds, and Maya Garza had 14 and 10 rebounds. So, it's a three-headed attack for Deckerville, and, Kingston has great supporting players as well. But obviously it starts and finishes with Molly Walker. And, I thought it was a good Peck it was a good test for Deckerville. First of all, in the Blue Division, there's only 4 girls basketball teams this year.
Mm-hmm.
So every single conference game means a lot, especially when you're chasing Kingston. If you want to beat Kingston, you have to beat everybody else, because Kingston's not going to lose to anybody else. Hopefully, shout out to the Peck Pirates. Hopefully they get the upset tonight. But Kingston, until Kingston loses, it's Kingston.
Yeah, last week against Mayville, a week ago, 64-6 was the final score for Kingston girls. Molly Walker, 27 points. Vanessa Osborne, 12 points for Kingston, who moved to 9-0. And let's talk about the Peck Pirates. Despite the loss of Deckerville, 4-5 overall, 0-1 league play. Deckerville 2-0, 8-1 overall. Their lone loss for Deckerville was against Cass City earlier in the season. Deckerville this week, they do have the game against Memphis tonight and Kingston. Next week at All Saints and Lakers on their schedule, as well as Ackman-Furigov and CPS in the next coming weeks into February. Deckerville would like to get this upset win. I'm going to call it an upset if they can pull it off. It's going to be tough. Libby Tank, by the way, about 74 points away from her 1,000-point career mark,
awesome.
I believe. So, yeah. So those are the major matchups for Kingston and Deckerville. They're facing each other. Peck in the mix, too, playing tonight against Kingston. They'll have Memphis this week, next week against Caseville, and Almont on their schedule.
Eddie, obviously, we're big Peck Pirate and Deckerville Eagle fans here, but when we say that it would be an upset to beat Kingston, let me throw a stat out at you real quick.
You do that.
Kingston entering tonight's game against Peck, Kingston has won 54 straight conference games, with its last loss coming to Deckerville in 2020. When Deckerville beat them in 2020, they shared the conference title because Kingston beat them the second time. When Deckerville beat them in 2020, it snapped a 62-game winning streak. So
what year was that?
That was 2020, and that would have been Claire and Ella Watson and Addison Williams.
Okay. Is that COVID year?
I think it was before COVID.
Okay.
But yeah, so, the quick math on that, 54 straight, and then 62 before that, that's over 100 games, compared to just one loss, for the past, however many years for Kingston. Do I think Deckerville, has a chance against Kingston? I'd say this team is its best opportunity in a long time to beat Kingston. And I think what we saw against Peck, we saw Libby Tank doing what she does best, playing in the post, getting to the free throw line, getting rebounds. 17 rebounds is incredible.
Yeah.
Maya Garza has been doing a great job running that offense. And I talked to Coach Doug Kirkpatrick this weekend. He said, the only calls I make during a game are defensively. He makes the adjustments defensively. Offensively, it's all Maya Garza and Libby Tank. He trusts those two completely. And obviously, Maley as well. But you're going to need all three of them to, to play just about as well as they played against Peck. Obviously asking for all three of them to get doubles again is a pretty big ask, but they are going to need all three of those players to be at their very best. And then, a player like Allison Steeb, who doesn't do a lot of scoring, but they need her out there to make plays. They need her defensively. And Janelle Kyneth is a nice player too. Again, she doesn't score nearly as much, but she has the ability to score and she has the ability to rebound and play defense. It's I'm excited about it because I do think Deckerville has a shot. Now, I haven't seen Kingston play yet, so I could be completely off the mark on that.
Yeah.
But just real quick, Libby Tank, she was second in the county in scoring going into last week's games. She had 25 against North Huron and then 21 against Peck. She is currently the leading scorer in Sanilac County at 19 points per game. Maley is third in the county in scoring at 17 points per game. And then Aletta Jones, of course, fourth at 15.7. We're going to talk about her quite a bit on this show throughout the season. I think, it was obvious Deckerville was trying to prevent her from doing what she does.
She still played a pretty good game.
She did. 24 points and 16 rebounds. That's a fantastic game. And
it was a lot to ask. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Peck, when she was not on the floor, I think Deckerville was able to take advantage of that. because, it felt like when you were watching the game, it felt like a back and forth battle, kind of like it felt like a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because it was outside of the second quarter.
Yeah, the shots weren't easy for Deckerville.
Right. So. It was 10-9 after the first quarter, and then Deckerville goes on a 19-9 run in the second quarter. Peck in the third and fourth, they kept up with Deckerville and they traded buckets with them, but after they were down, 11 points at halftime, that was hard to overcome.
All right, so good luck to both teams. That's the major tasty matchup in the NCTL. The Big Thumb Blue Division. Mayville Wildcat Girls, they have North Huron and Akron Fairgrove non-league games. That's next week. They actually have Caseville. They were supposed to play that one. That was canceled as well. So I don't know if they'll reschedule that game this week. More than likely you will, because it frees up you got an open week there. You should be able to make up those games. Looking over into the Big Thumb Red Division, I talked about this earlier. The Carsonville Port St. Lake Tigers, they are 2-1. They do have a league loss, a little bit of a costly loss. It was against Bay City All Saints earlier in the season, 31-17 back on January 8th. They will have coming up Akron Fairgrove. You can't look past that. That's a big game tonight. And then a huge game against Owen Gage Bulldog Girls. Owen Gage is up against Bay City All Saints tonight.
Right.
So CPS girls can get themselves back in this league chase.
Well, and I think they did exactly what they needed to do last week in order to keep pace, because I still think it's a 3-team race.
CPS?
CPS, Owen Gage, All Saints.
Okay.
All Saints beat CPS. That's their one loss. But Owen Gage could beat All Saints tonight, and CPS could beat All Saints the second time around. I still think it's a wide open race, and I still think CPS is heavily in the conversation. It was unfortunate they had to start conference play on the road at Bay City All Saints. That's about as tough as it gets in that conference for a game. But they bounced right back, Eddie. And last week, it was Emily Cole who led the Tigers. And it was a lot of different players chipping in and stuff. But you start off the week with a 51-8 win over Caseville. Emily Cole had a career-high 18 points, adding 9 rebounds. And speaking of rebounds, Eddie, CPS out-rebounded Caseville 61-39, which included 28 offensive rebounds. That's a great way to get points, is offensive rebounds, those second-chance opportunities. Kaylee Thomas had 12 rebounds. Meadow Nichols had 6 rebounds. Taylor Bobbio had 8 rebounds. In Caseville, a little bit down this season, but CPS, just take care of it, because it's tough to lose to All Saints, but there's no time to sit and cry about it. You got to go out and get back into the red. And after they beat Caseville, they went up to North Huron and came away with a close 43-36 win. The difference was a 15-4 run in the second quarter for the Tigers. After Emily Cole set her career high with 18 points against Caseville, she set a new career high against North Huron with 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks. 8th grade guard Ella Grigg scored 6 points, adding 2 assists, and freshman guard Adrienne Richmond had 5 assists, 4 points, 3 steals, and 3 rebounds. So great job by CPS last week. Did what you needed to do to keep in this race. The nice thing for CPS tonight is, as long as you beat Akron Fairgrove, you can sit back and relax and watch either All Saints or Owen Gage get their first conference loss. But yeah, CPS did a great job of scheduling some tough non-conference games, playing Kingston, playing Deckerville, playing Brown City, playing Marlette. Sorry, not Brown City, Marlette. And it's preparing them for the Red Division play. That Owen Gage game is going to be a big one, though.
Yeah, because Owen Gage has All Saints tonight on the 20th, and then on 22nd against CPS. So they got to get through those two teams for Owen Gage to stay in this chase, too.
Right.
So, And the Bay City All Saints, like I said, against Owen Gage tonight. And, of course, coming up, they'll have North Huron non-league in Fairview this Friday. They have Deckerville on their schedule. I like that one next week. And Saginaw MLS. Then back to league play against Caseville for the All Saint girls. So there you go. Owen Gage at 3-0 in conference play. 2-0 as All Saints. They both face off against each other tonight. CPS at 2-1, 3-5 overall. 1-2 is North Huron. 2-8 overall in Akron Fairgrove. 0-3. 1-5 overall. Caseville at 0-2, 0-4 overall. Not
Eddie,
many games in.
I will be eagerly awaiting your Sanilac Broadcasting scores tonight.
Okay.
To see who wins that Bay City All Saints Owen Gage one.
I'll be staying up.
Because ideally, Owen Gage wins tonight, and then CPS beats Owen Gage on Thursday. Then everybody's right at even par again. But we'll see.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for Thumb Sportsline on WMIC 95.3 FM. If you're listening to it right now, our high school boys basketball game is underway. It is the Croswell Lexington Pioneers at the Yale Bulldogs. Myself and Mike Gallagher might be joining me later for that game on 92.5 WBGB and streaming online at SaniLacBroadcasting.com. A replay of this show will be up by tomorrow at the latest by noon. Thank you for tuning in to Thumb Sportsline on WMIC. We'll have to pre-record again next week because we got a big showdown, high school girls basketball on our schedule on Tuesday. Round City Green Devil girls at the Sandusky Wolves. Looking forward to that game there, Mike.
Yeah, a lot of great games coming up, Eddie. Deckerville, Kingston, Brown City, Sandusky, Croslex, Yale. Great little stretch here.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to Thumb Sportsline on WMIC 95.3 FM and at SaniLacBroadcasting.com.